Distinguished Speaker, distinguished National Assembly members, COVID-19 period is a very difficult period for everybody in the world, for all of us, especially in developing countries. It is very tasking for the population, but more so for the health workers. I will tell you, and more so for the health ministers. But I think it is most difficult for the health minister of the Republic of the Gambia, because the Gambia is a special case. So instead of us to deal with the response to COVID-19, strategizing, develop the policies, we deal with allowances and the allowance list and this and that and that. The Gambia is unique in the sense that things that ministers are not supposed to be dealing with just come to the bear, and if you don't deal with it, there is disaster. So you end up having to deal with that. This allowance issue is very unfortunate. Government came up with the idea that, and as we've been saying ever since, no one can ever pay health workers enough, especially frontline health workers. When people are sleeping, when people are doing other things, when people are enjoying, celebrating, these frontliners are at front there, risking their lives to provide healthcare for our people. But government said, let's give them honoraria, just a token to say thank you very much. Now, this honoraria, we said, provide us with the list of the people who are at the front line. The problem started, unfortunately, especially when the 500 million was announced. That's when our problem as a health ministry started. Unfortunately, people start to even forget about COVID. All they talk about is money, money, money. That's why I said our work is very, very difficult. Now, we say provide the list. When we talk about these things, it is not the majority, it's just in the minority that do some of these things. The majority are hardworking, dedicated, sacrificing their lives for the people of this country. Now, that minority provided a list. In fact, when you look at the list and the estimates, it consumed almost the entire $500 million for allowances. That was the suggestion. Of course, we wouldn't accept that. We said to them, it's a non-starter. It went back. They brought another list. That list was so big. We say, where are these people? I said, okay, if this list is big, bring it, let us have a look. We looked at the list. There were names of over 300 volunteers. Nobody knows where those volunteers. That means they are not working in the health sector. So if they are volunteers. Now that also went. We said, no, non-starter again. Remove all the volunteers. Bring the list of the core people. The list of the core people was brought. Some people came together to say, we know the people who are the active players. That list came. We saw names appearing in one section and another and another and another. Then I said, no again. Took the list back. Then we went to Kotu. That's where our central operations are. That day, as health minister, I stayed with the team to project, because we wanted to give some of them something, because you all had their complaints. It was difficult for them. Sometimes they go leave home early, they don't go home early. So we said, let's mobilize quickly to give them something. But we need a list. Now we looked at the list. I was there with them. They projected the names till 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't think any health minister does that in the world. That's not my responsibility. But if I don't do that, what will follow is disaster. Now, we looked at it. As we looked at it, we realized that there were various duplications. That night alone, 300 names were removed. Why were they removed? Because you will see some names at some point, and so many names. Then we say, okay, you have the team leaders here. Team this, team that, team this. When we project it, if these are in your team, You say yes because you know them. Look at your own list. But you also equally take responsibility because you are here and you say this. Then you start saying, I don't know that one. I've never seen this one. Who put this name? Now, this is what we do. So we went down there. I say, since there are various groups, let us now arrange them alphabetically. So that when the groups are there, you arrange the groups you arrange all the names, ignoring the groups alphabetically. Then you see one name 3 times, 4 times, 6 times. Then we had to remove it. These are the challenges that we faced. Now, when we streamline the list, we now say each one should get paid 5,000 honorarium. When that was met, they started. Then some started saying they were not involved, these ones are not involved. But the initial one was to pay the frontliners first. And the frontliner definition was those who were in the contact tracing, the surveillance, the laboratory, the case management team, and just in the health facilities, case management team, the people at the accident and emergency wards, and the people who are also at the outpatient units, because accident and emergency and outpatient are the people who receive any patient coming into a health facility. When they come and they suspect COVID, they alert the case management team in that facility. So this we regarded as frontliners. Now, so this is what delayed the list. Now we said compile the list now. Some payments started, but that was a limited number. That is why the others couldn't get paid. Because now they started wrangling, and some people from some facilities were putting in their friends, their relatives, to be in that frontliner. So even to get those frontliners. But we said, let's get the frontliners paid first, so that the rest of the people will also get paid. Probably a little less, because we have to stratify. Because if we don't stratify, the person who goes to take a sample from a patient, he's more at risk. But a person who is sitting down in the health facility is also at some risk. But you cannot compare them with this. If you make it flat, the person who goes to follow the patients will be complaining. He will say, oh, I'm risking my life, and look at it. This one is sitting at this place. And so we said it's important to stratify. Now, the nurses came up. Unfortunately, some of the people were also on the media talking and so on without engagement. But we had a very positive engagement, because when the goals are the same, there's no need to quarrel. So when we brought them, one very smart, honest young nurse, when we said to them, okay, you go and see your people who have not been paid and they have complaints, jot their names down and come. Then he came and told me, Honorable, I was shocked. When I went now, because there's going to be stratification, now everybody in any facility now is moving to work at the emergency room. Because now emergency room people are going to be paid more. So we are seeing names that were ordinarily posted in other parts of the hospital, all now being added to emergency room. So this is a nightmare we're having with the allowances, but the willingness is there. In fact, I myself was the one following them to produce this list 4 weeks ago. Now, why are we having some of these problems? Honorable members, distinguished honorable members, distinguished speaker, I think we inherited a bad system. That's the bottom line. Some of the things, the same old people are still there. They got used to this bad system of doing things. We talk about the Ebola. Unfortunately, Ebola funds were wasted in this country. And that's what they want to do with this. And we say no. That's why some of them are up and against. The Ebola funds were wasted here. What that would have done, today our health system wouldn't have been like this. But equipment was said to have been procured which never got to this country. Nobody sees them. Allowances were put together. Then the allowances were being given as interest. I learned. I was not there then, but they were being given as interest. And people held this interest in bags, and they go and pay selected people, and the rest only they and God knows where the rest went to. Some people were left as response teams that time for 3 months, and they never got paid a dime. And they are still here. If you investigate, you'll get to know. Now, why are we saying this? Because the same people are still there. Now they don't have that access, and they are sabotaging our system. For them, things should not work. To them, things should fail. To them, things should not work, irrespective, because they don't have their way to get access to these funds. This is the frustration I must tell you I am facing as health minister in this country. That's why I say this country, being a health minister this COVID time, is probably the most difficult work. They go to the media and make allegations without verifying. They hear one or two things, not knowing what the story is about. They go and fabricate. Instead of us to concentrate on the work to defeat COVID, we have to now debunk their lies, because so that the people know what the truth is. We have a bad system where we have people, middle-level people, who have been spending monies in here, building homes that 3, 4, 5 big-story buildings in town. In this ministry, they are there. We have people who go around to border points because they position people there to be collecting little fees from them every weekend. Now we remove those people. We said, no, you are not good for the health sector. You are not good for those places. They are very angry, because to them, Dr. Samate came to destroy their way of life. So they are up in arms and doing all kinds of havoc, undermining us, because they have grievances. Now, I'll give you an example, a very sad example. If a former minister could call a program manager as recent as 2-3 weeks ago to say to him to send him fuel coupons, then we have a problem in this country. So that means when those people were there, what would they have done when they were in charge of those resources? Now that they are not even there, they are saying, program manager, do you have fuel coupons to send to me? So this is the reality in our country, and it is sad. So this is why we have a big battle to do. So, but the allowance payment is ongoing, and we are certifying. We've brought them all so that we go around to see how soon they can be paid. Thank you.